Now, there is no reason for you to use laundry detergent to wash clothes, or your wife to use laundry detergent to wash clothes. Let me explain this to you. Do you know what washes clothes? Water washes clothes. Water is the universal solvent. Water is the universal solvent. It washes clothes. It always has washed clothes. It always will wash clothes. Why do you take that white powder and dump that white powder into your laundry? You know why? Because Procter & Gamble has addicted America to white powder. And I'm not talking about cocaine. I'm talking about laundry detergent. And America is addicted to white powder. Now, so laundry detergent. Now, that's our housewives. I mean, they're all addicted to it. Now, the reason why you put the laundry detergent in there is that in an agitator where it agitates and it spins up and it agitates the water, if you put the powder in there, it ionizes the water. It sets up an ionic field. Now, water, when it's ionized, is wetter than it is when it's not ionized. What do I mean by wetter? When you ionize it, you actually get the water to get skinnier. The molecules are skinnier and they penetrate the clothes better. So the reason for ionizing the water with powder is to make the water molecules skinnier and they get through your clothes better. Now, what better way is there to ionize anything than with magnets? Magnets set up an ionic field right now. If I set that next to water, all the water around those magnets would be ionized. Now, if I take these, I can ionize the water. The water will do the same thing that will happen if I put laundry detergent in it. However, if I set these, like if I take your laundry, I put your clothes down, and I set these little balls right up on top of your laundry, and I push the wash cycle, it's going to go around, 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 and at the bottom of the cycle, you're going to find these two together at the bottom of the cycle. And your clothes are going to be every bit as clean as if you would have put laundry detergent in with no laundry detergent in at all. Every bit as clean. How do you know if it works or not?
Wash dirty clothes.
Yeah, you get it? You wash your dirty clothes. If they come out clean, guess what? It does it. Well, not only does it do it, but how long does a magnet stay magnetized? A permanent magnet?
Permanently.
Permanently. And so, do these ever wear out? No. They're coated in plastic so they don't make noise. They're rounded on the ends so they don't break. And they will last your whole lifetime. That means that after you get done with the laundry, you just put them right back up until the next laundry cycle, and you will never, ever, 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 ever again have to buy laundry detergent. And you know, it doesn't hurt anything to have soap with them. That doesn't hurt anything. Huh?
Or the fabric softener. Fabric softener.
You can go ahead and put the fabric softener in. And also, now, by the way, this only does what the laundry detergent does. This doesn't do what the spot remover does. Right. You've got a spot and stain remover. So every time we send you one of these, it comes in a kit. It's also got a report here from a testing facility that these do indeed wash clothes. And there is no Attorney General in America, although there have been 3 of them who tried to stop us from doing this, who has been able to, because we do have a certified test that it does indeed wash clothes. Gas is coming out of some sort of torch. When gas comes out of that torch, you use it to cut steel. These people who are cutting steel with bottled gas are spending a lot of money. Yes. All right? If they're using gas to braze, what does it mean, braze? It means take 2 pieces of metal and bond them together with a common thing that bonds both pieces of metal. So it sticks to one piece of copper, it sticks to the other piece of copper. It's like a glue stick. So when you braze, you take a piece of a brazing rod, and that brazing rod sticks to both pieces of metal. It's like gluing. But people that are doing your mufflers, they need to weld them, they need to braze them. What are they using? Bottled gas. This machine right here takes water. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is more expensive, acetylene gas or water? I'm not talking about the stuff at 7-Eleven either. I'm talking about the thing that comes out of your water hose. I'm talking about the lake out there. I'm talking about the river out there or the mud puddle right down here. All that water is usable in this machine. This machine takes water and turns it into cutting gas, brazing gas, welding gas. Is it as good as the other gases? No, it's not as good as the other gases. It's way better than all the other gases. Way better. So water gas does things that the other gases don't even dream about doing because they don't have a mind. Water gas does have a mind. So I'm going to show you the only intelligent gas in the world. This is an intelligent gas. This gas thinks. You're like, man, this guy's out of his mind saying stuff like this. Well, I'll verify. I'll show it to you, and I'll show you why I say it thinks. It makes up its own mind. Now, the gas that comes out of here, unlike any other gas in the world, when you got a line of gas coming out of here, you hit it with a match, you get the flame, you got a torch. The torch right here, I put my hand through it. No problem. Put my shirt through that flame. That's the same flame that's going to cut steel. Put my hand through it. Put my shirt through it. No problem. Because the temperature of this flame coming out of here is always going to be the temperature of whatever touches it. See what I mean? Intelligent gas. It says, oh, that's a hand. I only want to be 150 degrees. So if you move it quickly, it won't burn you. Oh, that's a shirt. I only want to be about 120 degrees. Move it quickly, it won't burn it. If I take a piece of aluminum and set it up here, it's going to say, oh, that's aluminum. I want to be 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Why? Because the melting point of aluminum is 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Because the melting point of your hand is 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Because the melting point of your shirt is 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see, this is only going to be the temperature of the melting point of whatever touches it. Do you think any other gas determines that?
No.
No, no other gas does that. Now, if I then take a piece of fire brick and I put a fire brick up to this right here is fire brick. If I take a fire brick and I put it up to this flame, puts a hole right through the middle of it, what temperature does it take to do that to a fire brick? 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is immediately, I'm going to put my hand through it, didn't burn my hand, then I'm immediately going to put this fire brick up to it, it's going to do that to the fire brick. Now, by the way, if you tell some cutter, welder, or brazier that you saw this, a fire brick that had a hole burned right through the middle of it, he's going to tell you you're a liar. You know why he's going to tell you you're a liar? Because it's impossible to do that. You cannot do that. Can't be done. You can do it with a laser, but you sure can't do it with acetylene or MAP gas or LPG or any other gas that they're using. Can't do it. Why? Because the temperature to do this is so high that it will blow the brick up before it makes a hole. So it'll blow the brick up. Anybody here ever do any cutting? Anybody? Welding? Brazing? All right, so we got a couple of guys. All right, now, so if you tell somebody you saw that, they're not going to believe you. It's going to immediately become 5,000 degrees and go right through that. Now, anything that it touches, it is going to immediately melt it. What did I say? Anything? What do I mean by anything? I mean anything. Anything on this planet. Rocks, granite, marble, diamond, anything on this planet. Titanium, any metal. This will immediately melt it. Anything. There is nothing that will not be melted if it comes in contact with that flame. All things will be melted. The machine has a life expectancy of 20 years. There's one moving part. One. There's a little blower right up on top of here. It costs $49 to replace it. That's the one moving part in the whole machine. All the parts and components will last for a 20-year period of time. He might have to change out a little water sensor. That's 19 or 20 bucks.
What about electronic?
Pardon?
Electronic.
The electronics is it. When you have the electronic circuit in, you got a brand, if that went bad, you pop it out, pop a new circuit in, you got a brand new machine. So we're going to take a piece of tungsten. Now when I take this piece of tungsten, I'm going to hold it in my bare fingers. Tungsten, I'm going to put it up to the flame, and it's immediately going to sublimate. Now, what does it mean, sublimate? It means that you've got a metal that resists heat to such a high temperature that it really doesn't melt, it'll just go right into a gas. So, tungsten sublimates. Now, we put it in light bulbs. Why? If you look up at that light bulb right there, it's pretty bright. It's resisting, and it gets so bright, but it doesn't melt because it's not hot enough to melt it, but it's so hot that you see how bright it is, you get all that light. This tungsten right here, when I sublimate it, the temperature at which it sublimates is the temperature of the surface of the sun. How hot do you think it is on the sun? 13,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is going to be 13,000 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature of the surface of the sun here, and inches away I'm going to be holding it in my bare fingers. And all metal is made to conduct heat. Whatever happens here is supposed to go right down that and be happening everywhere. So I'm going to be sitting here holding this end while that end is the temperature of the surface of the sun. And I'll count to 10, holding it there. No problem. And you'll see the smoke coming off it, and you will know that is sublimating. You'll also see how bright it is, and you'll know that's the temperature of the sun. My fingers are only inches away. I will do that for you to show you that what you're going to give these guys is like nothing else that they've ever had. They're going to start discovering some of this stuff themselves, and man, let me tell you something, they're going to be believers in this machine by the time you get back. Now, we're also going to cut a piece of steel. Why are we going to do that? We're going to cut the steel to show you that when the cutter cuts, he's going to be shocked. Normally, when you cut a piece of steel, you get slobbers down here. Now, the slobbers that you get when you shut it down, you make it cool for a while, so you got to wait for it to cool. Then you put it in a vice grip, and then you take a grinder and you grind all of those little burrs off of it, those little slobbers off it. Got to grind it off, like molten metal. Then you can use the piece that you cut. A cutter would think he died and went to heaven if he made a cut and it came off the machine looking just like that. No getting out anything and grinding any burrs off or grinding anything, comes out looking just like that, because that's what he's looking for. He wants to use that piece. If he gets it like that off the machine, he's going to be pretty shocked. Now, also the piece he just cut is ready to be cut again because there's no burrs on that one either. So that's going to be pretty amazing for the guy who makes his cut. So I want to show it to you so you're going to see you're not going to be embarrassed at all when you come back. You're not going to have anything to apologize for. Now, by the way, on brazing, that's a braze. Now, we can take a man who never brazed before in his life. How long does it take to learn the art of brazing? Usually months, maybe 3 months. It takes you to learn how to braze good. How much do they pay guys who braze? Good money. Oh, they pay them good money because they don't want to be destroying the metal. You got to get that art down. Now, you got a fire that is so hot that when you put it down here with the stick, by the way, this is a brazing rod. This is the stick. That's a brazing rod right there. We also do our crazy little thing of welding brazing rods to bricks. I mean, you guys probably have done that before. But this is a brazing rod. Now that little brazing rod there, you take it down and it gets hot and it sticks to that piece of metal and it sticks to that piece of metal, and that's how you put the two together. Normally, your fire is so hot that it causes this all to buckle. So you're brazing and it's buckling, and you're trying to fly fish because if you get it on there too long, you'll put a hole in it. So you got to get artful to where you just kind of milk it along.
Do you need flux with that?
Yes, you do the normal way that you braze. But when you go to set this up, I want you to get the brazier aside, take the brazier aside and say, hey, brazier,
Yes.
let's just go over here and talk for a minute. And then when it happens, that's all right. But when it happens, you get him off to the side and you say, now, when you go to braise with our gas, don't fly fish. Just put it on there, bring it on straight down. You won't get any buckling and you're going to be amazed. Now, I'm saying that to you on the side because just trust me. Don't fly fish. Just put it on it, bring it straight down. You're going to be amazed what it does. Just wanted you to know that. Now, why do you tell him to the side? Because if that's true, then anybody can learn how to braise in less than an hour.
Right. Wow.
And that means that the boss man could go get a minimum wage guy to do all the braising. Because anybody can learn how to braise. A pastor can do this in 1 hour who never braised before in his life. Don't ever do that with an acetylene torch. You don't do that with no other torch. You put the hand right through it because it changes its temperature to the material that it's touching, and now it's touching my hand so it's not very hot. Now if I take a piece of aluminum and I put it up here, aluminum will conduct the heat, and so this will not be very hot. So water will roll off of this. Watch, and I'll show you. See the water coming off of that? See the water? Can you see it? See it dripping off of there? Make me a cut on that thing now, Chuck. All right, now. We didn't do anything before now. Now we're starting. Make a cut. There you go. I can still smell it. I think you got...
It's on the ground from the heat getting sparker in there.
That's probably it. Okay. See that? No slag. No slag at all. Just cuts right through it. Smooth as silk.
Try to make it this.
Yeah, make me another one. Okay, now he's going to make me another one. This is going to be a purdy one now. Go ahead. I never saw it do that ever before. But now it looks like we're right back online again. Now that was because you overfilled it, Chuck? With water, or?
Yeah, water.
So you have a certain level that you're supposed to fill it to? And
After I filled it, I bled it off to where it was at, and he came right behind me and dumped more into it. I had a 1 gallon with about that much in it, and that's all that I took out.
So your fill level is, all right, there you go. Look at that. No slag. We've done that about 3 times. No slag at all. Don't get in a hurry here now, Dennis. Give me that glove there or something. Ooh, don't pick it up. I just want to get an edge on it. Oh, shoot. Lay it down. There we go. There it is. Does anybody want this one? Just put this in your pocket. All right, Chuck, now, get that out of the way. Pull it back over this way a little bit. Now, this right here is tungsten. In order to sublimate this, it takes 13,000 degrees, the temperature of the sun. I can hold this in my hand while this end here is 13,000, this end I'll be holding in my hand. This is the temperature of the sun. I'm holding this in my bare hands. I learned this totally by accident because normally we used to hold pliers and gloves and everything to do this because this is really hot. And this is metal, so it would transfer the heat down here. But it is so concentrated that even though it's the temperature of the sun here, it doesn't even travel down here. So I'll be holding this in my hand. How you know this is tungsten is it gives off like a yellowish green flame or a cloud of smoke. And how you know it's sublimating is it's turning from metal into gas. So when I pull it over here, it'll start sublimating, it'll turn into gas. Watch, I'm holding it in my bare hand. You'll see the gas. See the gas coming off of it? That's gasifying. I'm holding that in my bare hand. That's the temperature of the surface of the sun there. Now watch what happens when I pull it away. I'm putting my hand through the same flame that was 13,000 degrees a second earlier. So I'm holding this, even though it's that temperature here, it didn't transfer the heat down here while it was working. Now that it's no longer working, it is transferring the heat, and it's starting to get pretty hot here because it's no longer an atomic reaction. Now it's getting real hot.
Hey, if you want to describe what's going on with that beeping, it's just making too much noise.
All right. Why don't you do that, Chuck?
You hear the alarm going off. It's a pressure alarm. It's nothing bad at all. What it is, the machine, we're not consuming enough gas the machine's making, so it's cycling itself through. Saying, hey, I'm happy, go ahead and shut off for a little while. So we found out you can use more torches. This machine will actually run 2, maybe 3, maybe 5 torches. It all depends on what you're cutting, the thickness of the metal.
Yeah, if you're cutting through that thickness of metal, you can use 4. But if you're just brazing, for brazing you use about 250, that's good enough. We can just shut it off now. Using only about 250 to 300 liters for brazing. So if you've got 2,000 liters and you're using 250 liters, you can have about 8 torches brazing at the same time. Now the last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is TF Sealant. TF Sealant is an incredible product. I'm going to tell you about the last product, pretty incredible product, very incredible product. This right here is dirt. Now, I'll tell you what, dirt is an incredible product. You may not know that, but dirt is a fantastic product. It really is. I didn't invent it, God did. But dirt, this is a plug of dirt. 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 That's hard. Do you know what that's as hard as? Concrete. What is it? Dirt. Pass it around. Now, so there's a piece of dirt that's as hard as concrete. How did it get so cotton picking hard? Well, all I do is take dirt and I spray it with a polymer, and the polymer gets down in the granules of the dirt, pulls it tight, tightens up, forms a lattice, pulls it tight, and it becomes rock hard. It's as hard as concrete. So I can turn dirt into concrete by merely spraying it. Now you say, well, wait a minute. What is good about that? Well, let's say that you got a dirt road and you got dust blowing up all over the place and dust is in your face. Well, you don't like dust blowing in your face. So I can come along and I can spray that road and there won't be no more dust. Now, let's say that you jumped on an airplane. You're from New York. You don't have that much dirt right there in the middle of downtown New York. So you don't have a big need for it. But you may live out in the country, upstate New York or anywhere else, and you got a big need for it because you got a dirt road and your driveway is dirt. And you feel kind of gypped. Everybody else has got an asphalt driveway and you got a dumb old dirt driveway. But you went out and you got a price for somebody to come and put asphalt on your driveway and you said, whoa, no way, I'll have a dirt driveway then. Well, I get good news for you. You come along, you take your dirt driveway, just like this right here, an old dirt driveway, and you spray it with this polymer, and it becomes hard. Real hard. And then what you do is you go down to Home Depot and you buy yourself a can of black paint that is waterproof, and you paint the other side of it, and you got a driveway that looks just like everybody else's driveway. Only it's cheap. This don't cost a whole lot of money. Isn't that neat? So you just spray your little driveway there, make it rock hard. You'll never have ruts, you never have dust, and if you take some paint, paint it, you can have a driveway that looks just like everybody else's driveway. Now let me play a videotape for you guys. I'm going to just play a quick little videotape to show you what happens to a road when you go down it and you spray it with this. Dust. Almost 50.
Some traffic to see how we control the dust. See, there's no dust line up.
So you go dig a hole, whatever size hole you want. You want it heart-shaped, you want it kidney-shaped, whatever you want, whatever you think would be cool. You can go out and dig a hole and you can make yourself a hot tub. And all you got to do is make sure that you get a little plastic line, run PVC pipe back up from the bottom so that you can recycle the water, suck the water off the bottom and recycle it, put a little pump up there, and guess what? You got a swimming pool. Now, how'd you like to have a nice big swimming pool, in-ground swimming pool, for about $2,000? $1,500 to $2,000. Now, by the way, all around your swimming pool, you might want to put this stuff, little pea gravel. So you take this and you stick the little gravels into it while it's wet, and then you just come along and you got a nice little patio. So you can have a patio. So you got your patio. Anything. Now, you can go out and you can make trails, you can make little walkways, you can make Japanese gardens. I mean, it's amazing all the stuff that you can do with this stuff. You can make ponds for farmers. So if a farmer takes a bulldozer, makes a hole, you fill that hole with this stuff, water comes into it from the rain, and he's got a pond. This right here is marble. It is impossible to patch marble. You cannot patch marble. Here's two pieces of marble. Try to get them apart. You can't. Why can't you? Because you can patch marble. You can patch concrete. You make a slurry of this, and you just go to a concrete parking lot, and you can patch all the cracks and holes in that parking lot and make it good as new. So you go down there, can you make any money doing that? Oh, buddy, let me tell you something. They don't want to reconcrete that baby, and if you can patch it, man, you're the king. They want the business. You can also, we got a machine that makes bricks. So we have a brick making machine. That's a brick. What do you do to make bricks? You take dirt, you throw it into this machine, and it spits out bricks. How much is it for a brick? 5 cents a brick. If you got dirt. Got dirt, we got bricks. Spits out the bricks, 5 cents a brick. Go price out bricks sometime, see how much bricks are. 5 cents a brick, that's cheap housing, folks. That's cheap building. We got another machine that spits out blocks. This makes like the equivalent of cinder blocks. Those cinder blocks, regular conventional 16-inch cinder blocks, are 22 cents a piece. Cheap housing? You want to get retainer walls for flood areas? Man, just put those retainer walls up. When it kicks the bricks out, the bricks come out wet. You don't even have to trowel them. You just set them on top of one another all the way down the line. You don't have to be a mason. Just make them straight. And then when they cure as a solid concrete wall. So they just come together as a solid wall. You want to build retaining waters for flood areas? Man, it's incredible. Now, I can take a foundation, run it 60 feet long, and I can build those bricks 8 feet high, 6 feet long, and the total cost is $240. An 8-foot wall, 60 feet long for $240. I want somebody to show me how they can beat that. Sony Grow. Now, what is Sony Grow? Well, Sony is like sonic. Sonic means sound, noise. Grow means grow, nutritious, nutrients. We have a farm product called Sony Grow, but also Sony Grow is not only a farm product, it also is a homeowner product. So this works for farms, this works for homeowners. Have you ever seen a bigger ear of corn than this one? Have you ever seen a watermelon bigger than that watermelon right there? Then you know that this stuff works. It's not quite this good, but it's good. It's great. It's fantastic. Now, and we got a picture of that right on this, right on the box. Right. We got it so that everybody can see. But this right here will cause any produce, any vegetable, anything to grow. There has never, ever, ever been a crop failure. Never. We have never had a crop failure. And what will it work on? Anything that grows, except, of course, hair. You can't grow hair. But if you want tomatoes, if you grow a garden, this is a little garden kit. Now, in this little garden kit, you've got everything you need. You got a little sprayer, you got the nutrients, you've got a tape. Now, what do? You take your little boom box, or you take your tape recorder, and you just put this tape on it, and you play this sound to it. It sends this sound out into the airwaves, and what does it do? It opens the limbs and stems of the plant, and the plant is ready to receive nutrients. What does this sound like? It sounds like a bullfrog. Roll, 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 roll. Or it sounds like So it sounds like that sound as well. When it makes this sound, it causes the limbs and stems to open up, and it receives nutrients from the air. I mean, you cannot believe what this does. Baby apple trees that have a crop the first year, it takes 5 years for an apple tree to have a crop. In the first and second years, you will have a crop. Farmers, apple farmers are just, they're like, oh, I don't believe this. And their apples are so big. And so the neat thing is you get early maturity, you get greater growth, and you get a higher yield, and you get better taste and more nutrition. Now, this is an incredible product. This is the most efficient fire extinguisher in the world. Nothing is better than what I got in my hand. The best fire extinguisher in the world. Now, right inside of here, there is a powder. So the powder Let me shake it up and you'll see it. The powder inside of here, every granule of it is siliconated. So it's all siliconated. When I open it, you'll see the powder? Every granule is siliconated. It puts out class A, B, and C fires, all fires. You get a tire on fire, what's the best way to demonstrate this? Light a tire, walk over to it, go like that, put it out. Put the fire right out.
This is class B and C fires.
All right, now, this right here, we're going to take water. We're going to pour water in this, because if I've got a powder and it is next to humidity, what's it going to do? It's going to cake up. So I'm going to take water, pour water inside of this. You see that? Pouring water in it. Now, it's not going to cake up because every molecule of this, every granule of this has been siliconated. It's coated in silicon. So now when I just pour the water out of it, see the powder on top of the water? It doesn't mix with the water. So when I pour the water out of it, it's just powder. Will not mix with water. So it does not mix with the water at all. So it never cakes up. So when you reach for this, you got a fire, you reach for this, you're ready to go. That's an engine on fire right there. See the engine on fire? I watch cops go through 3 fire extinguishers probably to put one of those fires out. They can't. If it hits the tire, then for sure they can't get it out. We walk right straight over there, just put this right on it. See the spray? Put it right on it, puts it out immediately. You need one of these fire extinguishers for your car. You need one of these for your house. You need one of these for your office. You need one of these for your boat. Everything you got that might catch on fire, you need one of these. Now, so it puts out all of the different fires. If you're at your house and you get a grease fire, it'll put it out right now. Grease fire, right now, out. Now, if you take baking soda, you can do that. Don't do it, because the baking soda is going to cake up. Then you put a brick into your grease fire, splashes everywhere, your house is on fire. Now, one of the things you may not know, this right here fits right up on your stove. Let me show you this. So it fits right up over your stove. You see that? See that, Art? So if you've got a burner, this fits right over the burner. And I can just take it off of here. And this is a magnet. So it's going to stick on that. And you have one above each one of the burners in your stove. Now, what's inside this? What do I have in here? I've got the same stuff I just showed you. So the stuff I just showed you is going to put out the fire, any kind of fire, and it's filled up to about this level. So it's full of the powder up to about here. The rest of this is what? Air. Now when it's sitting above here, and you get a grease fire, or you got a turkey in the oven, and you went shopping, and you're gone, or you went to a movie, and all of a sudden you say, "Oh my God!" and you remember the turkey is still in the oven, and you start the race for space to try to get home, man, because if you don't get there before those cabinets catch on fire, your house is gone. So you're beating the clock, running back to the house, and when you get there, the fire starts lapping up from your oven or from your burners, and you're not even there. When it laps up on this, it makes this hot. If I've got air in here and air gets hot, what happens to air when it gets hot? It expands. When the air expands, it pops the top and delivers all this powder over the stove. Puts literally everything out on your stove without you even being there. You don't even have to be there. Let me show you a videotape of exactly that happening. So we got a fire there. Now if you look at the meter, it's going to take 1 minute.
The grease fire is initiated.
Or what is it, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
1 minute from the time the fire starts, so it takes about 5 minutes. 1 minute from the time the flame.
From the time you see the flames, you've got 1 minute to put that fire out, or it's going to catch the kitchen cabinets on fire.
You can see how dangerous this can be.
That's how
in your
fast
home.
that happens, 1 minute.
Within a matter of moments, those flames are wicking up on the hood and or your kitchen
And that's a
cabinets.
grease fire. So now what's it doing? It's starting to heat up the can. So it's lapping up around the can. Of course, it's going to burn the cover off of it, and so it's not going to be pretty anymore. Now, see it? It's on its way to the kitchen cabinets. If it gets to the kitchen cabinets, you're done. Call the fire department. You're done. Throws the powder everywhere, puts the whole fire out, everything there out, but you notice that the fire is still
All right,
on
we've got
underneath the
deployment.
pan.
Fire is out
So you
on
see
top.
that the fire is out on top, but it still is underneath the pan. Your fire is still hot. Now see it in slow motion. Boom. Puts that fire out. No, actually, as that's going, it's just dissipating. It doesn't have value. A fire it's not going to catch anything on fire because it's all dissipating. But yeah, it looks like whenever you see it in slow motion, it looks like it was exploding up there. Next product that we got is Hydroweed. I'm going to have Mike do this one, and then Mike, you can head out after that. Now, Hydroweed absorbs up to 17 times. Hydroweed absorbs 17 times its volume in oil. So oil, any kind of chemical, hydrocarbon, it'll absorb gasoline, acetone, oil, any kind of a spill that you get, a wet oil spill or a dry oil spill. So if you spill oil on the ground, put Hydroweed on it. It will absorb 17 times its volume in oil. Go ahead, Mike. I'm going to let you.
We're going to start over here, Art. This is going to be a dry spill.
Okay, you guys watch the demo. Mike will talk to you about it. You're not on this thing here, Mike, so you want me to put Mike on this?
Or you can just repeat what I say. This is a dry
All right, I'll repeat what Mike says.
This is a dry spill.
That's a dry spill.
You can see the oil there and gas.
See the oil, the gas? Now, Mike is just going to take some of this and put it on top of it. Move that hand over there. Yeah. Okay, you guys see it?
So instead of having a bunch of oil here,
Instead of having a bunch of oil,
I lost him.
that's all right. He'll catch you.
Instead of having a bunch of oil, I got clumps of
See?
Hydroweed.
So there's your clumps of Hydroweed.
Okay. Now
So it sucked it all up.
Now I'm going to put it in the water. You guys can come a little closer to see this.
You guys want to come a little closer around
What I'm
here?
going to show is that it absorbs the hydrocarbons, but it will not absorb the water.
See, now when it comes in,
It's going to float to the surface because
you see it floating to the surface?
Water.
If you want to come around, Bob, you can come right around this side here, or you guys can wheel around over here and get some more room. Okay?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle the Hydroweed over.
Now, see, you got the oil. So if you had an oil spill out there, the Exxon Valdez,
Whoops, I'm making a mess there.
that's normal.
Yeah. So now instead of having oil spill across, I have clumps of Hydroweed,
See the clumps?
and I'm going to grab this.
And there's no film. There's no oil film. And he
when I
cannot,
squeeze, what's coming out is water,
when he squeezes, what's coming out is water.
not oil.
There's no oil when he squeezes it out.
So that shows it absorbed the oil, but it's not absorbing the water.
So it will absorb the oil, but it will not absorb the water.
Okay. Now this right here, Art, this box right here is equal to 200 pounds.
So this box, this size box, is equal to 200 pounds
Of the clay kitty
of
litter.
clay kitty litter.
And then we have a larger container that's like a dog food bag, and it's called the 17-gallon container, and it's equal to 700 pounds of the clay kitty litter.
If you were in a machine shop now, you use clay kitty litter. The big bag, like the size of a dog of a dog chow thing, a bag of dog food, is equal to 700 pounds of that clay that they use to try to absorb oil in a machine shop.
So
you can have this little lightweight guy here, or you can get a forklift to try to carry that other 700-pound thing in. Now, let me tell you, you can clean the septic. If you clean the septic, you put one of these guys in it. That's assuming that you can get the top off. You got to know where it's at. You might have to dig down, pull the top off. Guys come and they suck those septic tanks out. Costs a lot of money. Toss one of these pills in there, take one pill, and call me in the morning. It's cool. It takes care of it. It eats everything in there. Now, if you can't get it in there, it's not convenient, buy it in liquid form. Cut the top off of this thing with a pair of scissors, throw it right in the toilet, flush the toilet. Just delivered it to the septic tank. Do it with pills, do it with liquid, take care of your septic. Don't ever have to worry about getting them guys to suck it out for a whole year, then do it again. Don't have to worry about it for another year.
That's after the Munchers?
This is oil munchers. All these things are oil munchers. Those are actually oil munchers in there, and they break down when they get into that, and they just... Now, also, you got a tablet like this. That's a urinal tab.
What's in the tab?
So you can set the tab in the urinal. Somebody tore this one open. I guess they wanted to bite some of that. Somebody probably thought that was sour or something. And but you just put it right in the urinal. Makes it smell good. But it also destroys all the little bad guys. And it goes down into the septic also and cleans the septic as well. We got something else. It's called oil munchers. Now this right here is oil munchers. This eats oil. It eats oil. It doesn't encapsulate it. It eats it. So right inside of here is enzymes. Right inside of here is little bugs. These are little microbes. They're in gram, like graham cracker. So they're set in this gram for a 20-year period of time. These little bugs are in a coma. They will last for 20 years in this coma. In order to wake them up, you just pull this off, pour it inside these enzymes, and shake this baby up, and all the little bugs come to life. Now, if you were in a coma for 20 years and you woke up, would you be hungry?
Pretty hungry.
You'd be a little bit hungry, right? And so let me tell you, these little bugs are hungry. Well, they have this really incredible feature. Not only do they eat hydrocarbons, all hydrocarbons, they also multiply like crazy. I mean, rabbits turn red with these things. These things go like crazy. I mean, they just multiply like crazy. So if you put them in here, they already start multiplying. By the time you go out to your floor, now, let's say that you went to a gas station. Let's say you went to a transmission shop. Let's say you went to a repair shop. Let's say you went anywhere where they got oil on the floor. You take a look at the floor and you can't see the floor. And everybody's like slipping and sliding and trying to get around like... Well, you don't have to do a whole lot, because what you do is you put the little bugs in here, shake this little puppy up, throw some water down on the floor, just sprinkle water on the floor, so he's going to have to let you come in whenever he's not busy. Sprinkle it down on the floor, take this and just throw it all over the floor. Sprinkle it all over the floor. Little bugs with all this, with his enzymes in it. You got the water, so they go through the water, and anywhere they see an oil, a little clump of oil, they eat it. And so they absorb all the oil. They absorb all the oil. You take a buffer, because you have to kind of rough it up a little bit. Just take a buffer one time across it. Just go across it with a little buffer. You can go down and rent them at a lot of places. Go get it, do the whole floor, buff the whole thing, set the buffer down, get yourself a good book, sit down and read it. When you're done, it's done. All the bugs have eaten all the oil off of it. They not only will eat all the oil off the floor, they will eat all the oil down into the cracks and pores of the concrete, 3 inches into the concrete. So all the oil is gone from the top of the concrete. Inside of the concrete, all the oil is gone. What you do is, as they eat the oil, they convert the oil to CO2, and it goes right back to the environment. So at the end of it all, you take a water hose and you push them right down into the sewer, and they're off. They're gone.
CO2.
Now, by the way, yeah, it is CO2. Now, when they go back down into the sewer, guess what they do for a living? They eat all of the bad guys out of the sewer. So they clean up the sewer, they clean up the environment. So not only are we not hurting the environment, we're helping the environment. We're renewing the environment. We're getting it back. Now, what can a guy do with this? A guy that has a parts shop can put this in his parts cleaner. So a guy with a machine shop throws this right inside of his parts cleaner, and what does it do? He can take a spray bottle of it, spray your engine with it, and it eats all the oil off your engine. Ta-da! He can take his parts cleaner, he takes his parts whenever he's a mechanic, and instead of sitting there and brushing them, he lets it eat them all off. It eats all the stuff off of all the parts. Oh boy, this is great. Now, so he has to then get involved in the parts bugs. There's bugs for parts cleaners, there's bugs for floors, and then we also have bugs for what? Septic tanks. If anybody has a septic tank or a grease trap, every restaurant, gosh, is there any market here for any of this stuff? Every restaurant has a grease trap. And what do they have to do with the grease in their grease trap? They got to get somebody to come and suck out the grease. And what do they do with that grease when they come along with the big truck and they suck all the grease out?
Take it to a waste treatment.
They take it somewhere. I guess it's a waste treatment plant. Let's all hope it's a waste treatment plant. It might be the river, but it's a waste treatment plant.
No matter how you look at it, it's a waste treatment.
Yes, and so let me tell you something. If you don't have the problem, guess what? We put little bugs down in the grease trap, and they never, ever, ever have to have the guy come and suck it out.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
And they're costing $200, $300, $400 each time they suck out the grease trap, and we can just be sitting there metering out little bugs in the grease trap. We got a little pump that just meters out the bugs, and it just dumps them in, a little bit of them every day, and eats it all up. Now, once a year or twice a year, they got to get it sucked out because they got chicken bones. It won't eat the chicken bones, and so the chicken bones have to get sucked out. But other than that, you don't need to suck it out anymore. Now, Miracle Shield is exactly what it says. It's a miracle. This is a miracle. Miracle Shield, you can spray this on any surface, and let's say you sprayed it on your tires. Your tires are going to look like this all the time. Go through a mud puddle, the mud rolls off of it, and it looks just like this. It's always clean, it's always good, it always looks good. So you can spray that on just about any surface, and when you spray it on a surface, by the way, if you spray it on any surface, you can't put graffiti on it. I can spray it on masonry, I can spray it on stone, I can spray it on roofing, I can spray it on metal, I can spray it on anything, and then you can't write graffiti on it no more. Cars too. Spray it on trucks, you don't have that problem anymore. Spray it on your vinyl seats and no more vandalism. So you don't have that vandalism, they can't do it. So you can spray things. Now, if you spray something metal with this, not only can they not put graffiti on it, but guess what? You never have to paint it again. Don't have to paint it anymore. It's all treated. It won't rust out. If I spray a bridge with this one time, you never spray it again. That's it. Spray it one time, don't have to paint it, don't have to do anything. It is protected. It's called Miracle Shield. It shields it from the elements. Now, on the heat paint, we have a paint, and you just paint a wall. You paint a ceiling. So if you paint a ceiling, you paint a wall, what happens is, once you paint it, 2 coats. You got to put a coat of silver on it, and it'll be bright silver, and you'll look at it, and it's just bright silver. Then you paint the second coat on it with our thermal paint. The first one is a reflective barrier. The second one is the second coat, and it has like a ceramic in it. So the ceramic paint is then going to keep any heat from transferring. So the heat will not transfer through that paint. Now, when I paint a wall with it, it's as good as insulating it. So like I can go out and I can take a wall and I can insulate that wall, and that costs how much money for all that fiberglass and all the other stuff in it? Or I can paint it and I can paint the ceiling, and now I'm holding the heat in on my side of that wall without the insulation. Now if I have insulation in the wall as well, what did I just do? Dramatically increase the insulative value of that wall. Dramatically. Now people will say to me, they'll say, well, what's the R value of that? I am not allowed to tell you the R value. You know why? The R value is tested one way, by so much insulation per inch. How many inches thick is our paint? It's a layer of paint. I can't test the R value per inch with the normal test for testing R value, so we can't tell you what the R value of the paint is. But I can tell you one thing. If you don't put the insulation in and you paint the wall, you didn't need it. Does that tell you what you need to know? If you do have the insulation in the wall and now you paint the wall, wow, now it's really insulated. If your insulation's been in your wall for a long period of time, let me tell you what's happening to your insulation. Your insulation looks like your grandmother's socks. Okay? It's all laying down there at the bottom. So all the insulation has gone down like this, and it's about halfway up the wall. You got insulation. At the top, there ain't no insulation. So if you paint the wall now, it's just like you reinstilled all that insulation in the wall again.
Is that heat and sound or just heat?
Heat, not sound. Heat is different than sound. Now, so I'm going to show you how valuable and how good this paint is. The way for me to demonstrate this paint, and by the way, you can get a copy of the videotape of this demonstration, or if you just get this videotape, we're going to demonstrate it for you live here. Assuming it all goes good, you're going to have it. Now, this is an egg. The egg has been dipped in paint. So I got a layer of paint, thermal paint. It dried. Then we tipped the egg upside down and did it again. How many layers of paint are on it? 2 layers of paint. So I can now take this egg, set the egg back up here in its little perch. And when I get ready, Ricky is going to put fire on the egg. Not yet, but when I get ready, he's going to put fire on that egg. Now, if you can imagine this guy right here for 3 solid minutes on that egg. We're going to cook that egg for 3 solid minutes with a torch on it. The temperature of the flame is 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you can have 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit heat reflecting off of that egg for a 3-minute period of time, then we're going to see what happens to the egg. Now, Ricky's going to go ahead and turn it on. We're going to demonstrate that for you. So you see the heat on it for 3 minutes. He's timing it. In 3 minutes, Ricky will tell us when the time is up. Now, this right here is a piece of metal. This metal, we could do this, Art. Or do you want to just stay on that? You can just stay on that. Or maybe you should come back here to this, because you're going to go back to the egg in a second anyway. This right here is a piece of metal. Now, the piece of metal has got the paint on it between the top and the bottom. It's all one continuous piece of metal. Now, if I take this and I put heat on that piece of metal, I'm heating it all up. You see how hot it is on the top? I'm holding the bottom of that same piece of metal. It's not even hot. Not even hot on the bottom. Don't hold the top. So the difference is the same piece of metal, it's just the heat is not transferring through the surface because the paint is on the surface. We've got another product here. I want to just show it to you. I can take a cloth and I can spray that cloth. If I spray the cloth, then once I spray the cloth, it's been treated with fire barrier. Now, fire barrier is going to hold the temperature and keep this from burning. So whatever I spray with fire barrier, it is not going to catch on fire right away. It will resist burning for a long period of time. Now this is terry cloth. Feel it, just like a regular towel or cloth. Same thing, right? Regular terry cloth towel. And now I have sprayed it with that. Now I'm going to put my hand underneath this, and I put the fire on it. You see that? Doesn't even burn my hand, and it will not catch fire. Now it's going to scorch. So, but if I take and I paint a sofa, I spray a sofa with that, and you fall asleep smoking on that sofa, you won't catch the sofa on fire. If I take your kids' bedding or your kids' clothing and I wash it with this in the washing machine, then they will have fire-retarded clothing. If I take that and I spray a wall in your building, it will be no color. So it doesn't change the color at all. It's clear, yet that wall will not catch on fire. So if you want to paint a wall in your building and be able to egress the building, if you want to do that, then you'll be able to get out of the building. If you ever have a fire, you've got a safe way for everybody to get out of the building. So you can spray a wall for a passageway, and they can get out of the building. When somebody in new construction builds a home, if you build a home, I can now spray all of those walls, and when I spray those walls, they won't catch on fire. So you can have that all fire retarded. Now we're going to talk about the cost of doing that in a minute. Also, you just take this little bottle right here, and if you take this bottle, you can spray your Christmas tree, and nobody has to worry about the Christmas tree catching on fire. So a lot of wives are like real concerned about, hey, the lights, get those lights off because I don't want to burn the house down at night. Just spray your Christmas tree with this and don't worry about it. Now let's go take a look at our egg. We just cooked our egg for a 3-minute period of time. If you notice, I can still hold the egg in my hand. So on the other side, I can hold the egg in my hand. I'm now going to put it in a plate, and I'm going to take a knife and crack that egg open, and we're going to look and see that that egg is not even cooked. See that? Not even cooked. The egg is not even cooked. See that?